It doesn't get any easier, does it?
You did it right. You did that so much earlier.
Doctor Who, episode 3 of Doctor Who December. Ooh. Welcome to episode 3 of Doctor Who December. Today we're looking at episode 3 of the 60th anniversary, The Giggle.
It's a really shit name.
Yeah. This is the third of 3 return episodes for David Tennant. The first being the Meat one.
The Star Beast.
The Star Beast. And then the Wild Blue Yonder. And then the Giggle. So, how does this episode start off? What occurs?
It starts off with a pretty creepy cold open. I thought it was really interesting.
It was really cool.
1925. A fella goes into like a creepy toy shop, buys a doll.
Great German accent by our toy man.
I don't know if I want to go into that now. Should I tell you about? So after they release the episodes, you go over to channel BBC 3, and they have like a behind the scenes show. It's called Doctor Who Unleashed. Like back when I was younger, it was Doctor Who Confidential, but it's the same show. And in that, Rusty Davies explained why he has a German accent, and it's the most insane and stupid reason I've ever heard.
So for those who haven't seen the episode, I'll quickly fill you in with our villain, played very wonderfully and very eccentrically by Neil Patrick Harris, who plays the Toymaker. But you were saying about what did you learn from Doctor Who Unleashed following the episode? Well,
so as you may or may not know, they do allude to it in the episode. He was the villain of a 1965, I think, episode called The Celestial Toymaker, which is a terrible episode. It barely exists anymore. They've wiped 3 of the episodes, so you can see like they're doing an animated reconstruction. They've put a trailer out, and it's the ugliest animation you've ever seen. It looks like a Telltale game, but worse. But anyway, you can see like telesnaps and there's like text on screen saying what happens. It's a really bad episode. It's like just a filler one where they've run out of budget and it's just on an empty soundstage pretty much. Yeah. It's really bad.
It's just another fella.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, there's like 2 clowns and that's it really. Anyway, because now I only found this out upon seeing Jeremy Ang Jones put an Instagram story on, but apparently celestial not only means like from the stars, it can have like another term of like from Chinese origin. And so he was saying like, why would you not cast an Asian actor to play the Celestial Toymaker? And that really confused me because I was like, but he's white. He was in the original too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't. And so Rusty Davies explains that. He says the Celestial Toymaker wears like I guess slightly Asian clothes in the original. I just thought he was eccentric.
Yeah, slightly kind of inspired by, wasn't it?
Yeah. And so he was saying that in the past that was like a racist caricature, and so he intentionally made Neil Patrick Harris's Toymaker racist. He has that like comment towards the guy about like
he has like
is this not too cold for you or something? And
you're used to like, warmer climates or something like that. Yeah,
and he says like he deliberately wrote the most offensively racist German caricature for him, so that it would like still be in character that the person that he was racist, and it's like that's not made it better. Just ignore it. Like you don't. And I even remember seeing on like the trailer, in like the comments of the trailer, there was someone saying like, "I'm German and I'm not really sure I feel comfortable with how this portrayal is." And he's like, "Well, you're making more people offended then. just you can drop the Celestial if you don't think that word's working and give him a different costume, but you don't have to address that." It's so weird how he thought he was making things better, and I don't think he's made it better at all.
It was such a shocking accent as well. It was really, bad.
I get that was the point, but it was. I think he did it too much because he sounds like English sometimes. He did a little bit French, but he's still like 80% of the time he's German. And I
thought he was going to kind of flick between them, do like different characters.
So. But it's almost entirely that shocking German one. Also, the Celestial Toymaker. That's not the most racist part. The most racist part is when someone says the N-word.
In Doctor Who?
In the Celestial Toymaker, yeah.
The original one?
Yeah. He does eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and he does not censor himself. Yeah.
Oh, My
I
God.
can't remember which character. I think it's one of the clowns.
No, the doctor says it.
Oh, it's the doctor. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so we do start in Soho.
Yeah.
Did you say in 1925, in the 1920s? Yeah. And a gentleman walks into this very unusual looking toy shop and purchases a puppet. But we find out this isn't any gentleman and this isn't any puppet. He is taking it to famous Scottish inventor John Logie Baird. And it's revealed that this puppet is used as a test subject for the first ever moving picture on television. Hard cut back into present day. The cliffhanger from the previous episode. The world is going crazy. The doctor is running round. He's seeing people are very opinionated and saying I'm right and they're wrong. I pay taxes, so this man isn't allowed to drive on the road because it's my road. And in the background, Neil Patrick Harris is back in the modern day, just having a bit of a song and dance. And
I think you don't really see Wilf because obviously Bernard Cribbins unfortunately wasn't well enough to film any more scenes. But I think they did I think it was nice how they sort of acknowledged him. There was a body double.
Yes.
And you know that he's alive and well, but I think they did a good job of what they could. But yeah, I thought that was a really strong opening, and it brings it back to my favourite sort of Rusty Davies episodes, the big event ones where it would be like an Earth invasion, and you'd see, especially how like London reacts to it, but also as a wide thing of the whole world. And I think that works so well. It's like Aliens of London and like Christmas Invasion and Stolen Earth and all of these. And I thought that was just, it was really well done, and the use of like news reports I really like. People can say it's like lazy writing, but I think it I don't know. I think it does a really good job in sort of.
I mean, look at RoboCop and Starship Troopers, arguably two of the most famous uses of like news reports and propaganda in film as a way to flesh out a situation or a universe that isn't just in a boring character delivering information to an audience.
Yeah, and I mean, in real life, you find out about like events around the world through the news, so I think it makes sense. And especially, I really like how now. So there's a bit where they're talking about jumping ahead a little bit, but the like emotional damper things on their arms. I can't remember what they're called, like Z something, and and Donna says like, why don't we just make everyone wear them? And Kate Stewart's like, oh yeah, imagine trying that, and it shows on the screen a news report from like a fake
Fox
like
News,
like a conspiracy theory right wing thing, and I went like, oh my god, it's Trinity Wells, because she was in loads of like the Rusty Davies previous era episodes as the news reporter, like the American news reporter. So they'd always have like BBC News, and they'd have like a fake American one, and it was always her. And so I was like, oh my god, it's her. And she was in like Torchwood and Sarah Jane Adventures, and like anytime there was like a news report, it was always her. And so I love the way that now, fast forward like however many years, and it shows how we get our news now is from like highly opinionated like echo chambers on the internet. So it's like she is like a conspiracy theory like channel, and it's that just feels like a more genuine way of showing. It just seems like a more genuine like 2020s way of showing it than just with a normal news report, because people don't necessarily watch just normal news anymore. They'd rather than watching like Fox News, they'd watch like the Daily Wire or something on YouTube.
What I thought was most interesting about seeing London in ruin is that I could watch that and just be like, I'm built different. I would.
I'd just scrap anyone who tries to come at me. I'll kill them all. They try and put that dampener on me, I knock them out.
I don't need it. No, I'm built different.
I'm fine.
I wasn't even on the TARDIS. I don't
get emotional.
I'm a man. I'm an adult man.
Yeah. I suppress my emotions like where you're supposed to.
As a quick side note, I'm sure we'll cut out all the coughs and splutters, but Matt is feeling under the weather again.
I'm
which
once
I think
again ill.
At least half the episodes, Matt has been ill now.
I think it's probably more than that. Yeah, I I'm always ill. This year I have been. I do think what's kind of weird is how that sort of never really comes up again, though. Like, it's a big setup, and then I think I will come to it, but how the last 15 minutes of the episode almost has like no connection to the rest of it, and I don't.
It's kind of it sets,
isn't it? Yeah, it sets up like a big conflict everyone in the world fighting each other, but it's only really to introduce the Toymaker. I want to see more effects of that as it carries on, and like when that stops, we don't see like all the public like turning back to normal and being like, oh my god, what have I done, sort of thing.
What it reminded me a lot of, but maybe not executed as well, was Kingsman. Because there's a very similar thing with the app in Kingsman.
I never thought of that, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
very
and
similar.
You've got all the stuff with Eggsy trying to kill Samuel Jackson, but you're cutting back to his mum, who is Ronnie Mitchell from EastEnders, trying to like break down the door to kill a baby.
Yeah.
Which was a very grounded way of showing this effect.
Yeah.
But following all of this craziness, we go to Unit, don't we?
Yeah.
Not to be confused with Avengers Tower.
No, I know, it looks
completely
exactly the
different, and it's its own thing. We're going to Unit Tower.
It's weird how Unit's like in the public eye now, because it was always like secret. I mean, the Unit base used to be underneath the Tower of London, a massive like tourist attraction, great place to put a secret agency. But then
with a massive laser gun on the landing.
Yeah, and then Jodie Whittaker's last episode, Unit Tower was like, is it the cheese grater they call it in London, which is like you could still see it on the skyline. It's like next to thingy, even though it was destroyed in that episode, and then you can see it in this episode. Don't worry about that. But yeah, now it's a new fictional tower that's humongous. It looks like the biggest one in all of London by looks of things. Yeah. But it was really cool. I liked it, and it kind of made me think when you go inside and there's like that big room, and it makes you think like this is a lot of stuff to build for one episode. I can see them maybe doing a spin-off, and they've got enough Unit characters.
They're talking about loads of spin-offs for this, aren't they?
Yeah.
I think we should talk about that more in the end, where we talk about future bits. So yeah, we get to Unit, and we make a very big discovery as to what's causing the effects of this like very opinionated madness. And you look at peaks of brainwaves on the screen, and Donna Noble figures out that it could correlate to musical notes. Can you remember what those notes sounded like?
Was it like it was something like
almost it was da 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 da. It was like that, wasn't it?
Yeah,
but
that's the one.
That is the titular Giggle.
See, that was very clever, because I was thinking like, wait a minute, I know that, but I don't actually know where I know it from. So I guess it's kind of just because it's simple.
See,
notes,
I didn't, because I've built different. I was never incepted by it. But
yeah, no, I heard it because I've got great ears, so I knew it. I knew that. I recognised that immediately. But I was like, yeah, you're not doing that to me. But I noticed it straight away. I'm clever.
So what's causing this Giggle?
I can't really remember.
It was the first. So we're going back to the cold open.
It's
the first televised
it's the doll
image of the puppet,
and it's still in. It's baked into every screen.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the only reason that this has all kicked off is because a South Korean satellite has given everyone in the world access to internet. So it woke up this dormant image and dormant Giggle, turn everyone a bit crazy. A bit.
It was quite similar to me. To what's the episode called? The Sound of Drums. The first one with the second one with the Master in New Doctor Who, where he is the Prime Minister and he's got like the Archangel network, which is like a phone thing, and that's got like he's got that, and it goes into his head. And it's like hypnotizing, and that's why he becomes Prime Minister, because everyone likes him because of some. That's a similar sort of thing.
So we figure out this Giggle is occurring, and the Doctor and Donna, they go back to our cold open Soho in the 1920s and confront the Toymaker, and the Doctor recognises him, and he is like talking about balls a lot. He's like, do you like my balls? Catch my balls.
Ball
And then he says Donna has big balls or some shit like that. Great bit of dialogue there.
Yeah.
What I liked most about this episode was I can't really remember as a filthy casual a villain that Doctor Who's come up against who is like a godly figure. I know you get these kind of characters in Marvel films and Marvel comics. Like there's this extra, a next level tier of villain. He's not just an alien, this is like a force of nature that is unbound by physics and logic and reality.
Well,
which is like a real genuine like fear that the Doctor
cool.
is. Can he get out of this one?
Well, so with Doctor Who, obviously, from all the comics and the books and the audios, like, he has quite a contradictory backstory in different mediums. But some people think that he's a Time Lord. It seems like he probably isn't. I think the main consensus is that he's a race called the Eternals, who are, like, more powerful than Time Lords. They're basically gods. And there's, like, the gods of Ragnarok, I think were mentioned before. They were in a Sylvester McCoy episode called The Greatest Show in the Galaxy. And there was, like... There's been like God, like there was Satan is a villain in Doctor Who.
great.
Like, remember that in the Possible Planet and the Satan Pit, the one with the Ood.
I thought it was just like the one beneath, or like it was given a name like that, where it just looked a lot like the devil.
No, he's meant to be Satan, but his son Abaddon is like the villain in the first series of Torchwood, and they do not have the same CGI budget as Doctor Who, and it looks even worse. But I think he's meant to be. They do say like every culture has like a concept of the devil, and he's just all of them.
Interesting.
But I liked it. I mean, I thought he's such an interesting cat. I kind of hope the Toymaker comes back. I thought it was great.
Yeah. So they get drawn into his play realm, and the Doctor kind of explains that there isn't just order and chaos. There's also play, and so they enter this state of play and are part of this elaborate game that the Toymaker's trying to lure the Doctor in and challenge him to a game. And the kind of premise of that is, the logic behind that is, the first time you saw the Toymaker, the Doctor challenged him to a game and won.
Yeah.
Then the Doctor re-challenged him to a game of cut. Is that right?
Yeah.
Just a simple
game
of
cut the deck. Yeah.
And the Doctor lost, and the Toymaker was like, "Ha ha ha! You've lost. I'm gonna kill you and Donna now." And he was like, "JK, 2 out of 3." And then the Toymaker just pieces out and is like, "See you in 2023." Which Unit Tower.
It's that episode set in 2025, so I'm just going to ignore that. The fact that it doesn't line up with the rest of the timeline, but whatever. As much as I really loved the first 45 minutes of the episode, I did find when he just kept going through corridors and then he find another corridor, I was a bit like, okay,
it's like Scooby-Doo. I've
seen enough of this now. I don't need. It's going on a bit too long for me. But that was good. And Donna was in like a room with some really creepy dolls, like the.
It was like Sue, the wife and the kids to the original puppet that's shown on television. Yeah.
They were very good.
She just does its head in against a wall.
Yeah, I was hoping she'd like kick one out the window. She doesn't really kick it very far, but in the like behind the scenes they said how the dolls were stronger than the set, and so every time she kicked it into a wall it made a hole in the set. So I get why they didn't do it like that. That was all good. And then I really like how when he captured them and he was doing like the puppet show showing what happened, how Stephen Moffat killed off every one of his companions. Like,
yeah,
that was really good, and how it affects the Doctor.
Yeah, which kind of leads into the end of Tennant's arc from these 3 episodes. I think that it's hinted at before. Like he mentions the flux and the not things kind of mention the guilt he feels around half the universe dying, and never being brought up again. So we return to 2023, and we have a great musical number to spice up your life.
Yeah, that was probably my favourite scene of the whole thing. I love
Which shows again that he is just, in terms of like this power level, just untouchable. This Toymaker. It was great. It was really interesting to see a different kind of threat to something like a Dalek. It was
quite. They've done similar things with the Master before. Like there's in Last of the Time Lords the Master like dances to I Can't Decide versus Sisters, and he dances to Rara Rasputin in The Power of the Doctor, and then so it's a similar scene we've seen before, but I thought the way that the Toymaker was like, you know, he can appear anywhere and he can like affect reality. Like I just thought it was such an interesting scene, and it was so the fact that it's just a joke to him makes him so threatening. I mean, that's sort of like, I guess it's quite similar to the Joker, but I love those villains who you kind of can't change their mind. You can't get through to them because they are just pure evil, but they just don't care. Like, they literally just don't care.
Did you say that he reminds you of the Joker?
Yeah, slightly.
What was your favourite line that the Toymaker said in this episode?
I'm the Toymaker, baby.
My favourite bit was when he turned a guard into some balls, and then the scientist catches a ball and it just screams at her and she throws it away.
Yeah, that was good. It was such a perfect song choice for it. And it went on. Great. I kept being like, I hope this doesn't end, and it did do quite a lot of the song.
So we mentioned briefly before that there is a big cannon. They have a big laser gun at the side of Avengers Tower, and the unit guys use it to blow up the Korean satellite to de-link everyone, and presumably get rid of the effects of the Giggle.
Yeah.
But that's a bit of a Chekhov's gun, if I do say so, because then the Toymaker's like, yeah, I'm gonna hop on this. And starts to threaten the Doctor and the companions and the soldiers. But he has some very interesting logic here, because what happens when he's on the gun?
He kills the Doctor with the gun.
He's packing heat. He gets a not a headshot, just a straight heart shot
through the heart. Yeah. I think this point onwards, I didn't like the episode very much, at all. Really. I don't know what you think, but I think from, you know what happens immediately after that. The whole bi-generation, I despise. I don't know. What do you think? I want to hear what you think about this whole point of the episode onwards.
I think it's a bit of a shame that Ncuti Gatwa doesn't get his regeneration.
Yeah, exactly.
That he doesn't get his chance to shine.
No.
However, Doctor Who is very much in the old soft world building category, and so can literally do whatever it wants if it wants to. So I'm not overly bothered personally by the concept of a bi-generation.
But I feel like there's still certain things that you need to stick to. Like, one of the main rules is, like, you don't show the Doctor's backstory. Like, you don't see him on Galf.
100. I'm with you there completely.
So when they ruined that with the Timeless Child, people got upset, and so I think when the Doctor dies, that Doctor's done, and then we go into the next Doctor, but it's still one person, and I like that being the way it is. I don't like that. I really don't like the idea of there being two Doctors and two TARDISes.
Well, this is the second time that David Tennant has regenerated and left another David Tennant behind.
I know. That's crazy. There's so many David Tennants in Doctor Who. He's the 10th Doctor. So he regenerated into himself. So he's two incarnations of the Doctor already, and then he's also the 14th Doctor, and he had that Meta-Crisis human one.
The one he left with Rose, didn't he? That one.
You could do a multi-Doctor story of just all of the David Tennant Doctors.
So yeah, this was kind of the big draw of this episode. I know you mentioned last week that there are a couple of rumours about it, but the Doctor does not regenerate in a way we've seen before. He splits into two, into David Tennant again, and into Ncuti Gatwa.
Yeah.
And this was because the Toymaker said he had challenged the first Doctor to a game, he had challenged David Tennant's Doctor to a game, and so wanted to challenge the next Doctor to a game as well. Yeah. And they do a pretty cool game of catch.
See, I thought that was such a cop-out again, after While Blue Yonder had just such a cop-out ending of, he just could just tell her arm was a bit too long. There wasn't any setup and payoff to how they defeated him, or how he noticed it was the wrong Donna. Like this time again, it was just they just throw a ball around and catch it, and then the Toymaker misses, and then he's defeated.
Yeah, no, I just thought agree.
What an anticlimactic ending. I think it should have been
an opportunity for Ncuti Gatwa to shine.
Yeah,
to show a difference between the two.
See, I can't even remember what his first words were, but when he first showed up, and when all of the scenes with both Doctors, it's like, no, but I want to pay attention to David Tennant's Doctor more, because he's the character I've been with these three stories. I don't want to see an overlap. That's why, it always has been, say David Tennant, last time David Tennant regenerated into Matt Smith, so you want to stay with David Tennant, you love his character so much, and then he's gone, and you're like, oh cool, here's this new guy. But if Matt Smith overlapped with David Tennant, you wouldn't care about Matt Smith. You'd care about David Tennant still. You have to be like, okay, this guy's done. Now I've only got one Doctor, and it's this guy, and I'm going to make sure I like him.
Yeah.
It just really didn't work for me. And I know I guess the concept of them wearing like half the clothes kind of worked, but I just think seeing him in his pants looked ridiculous. But I couldn't take him seriously. It was just, I just thought it was ridiculous.
Yeah. So as you said, they play a game of catch, and the Toymaker just misses the catch. And so
the
deal
how boring!
Was
what a boring resolution.
You're banished from this universe forever, and he gets folded up and put away in his little box. And then it kind of wraps up these 3 episodes, this little anniversary, and sets up Ncuti Gatwa's stuff.
Well, let's just say before that, he talks about how he's faced like every, I guess, main Doctor Who villain. So he talks about the Master, how the Master's now trapped in his gold tooth. Yeah. And you see that gold tooth on the side at the end, floor, yeah. And then like a hand with red fingernails picks up, which is the same thing happened with his ring in the end of Last of the Time Lords. But so I guess that's setting up that the Master's going to be a villain in Ncuti Gatwa's era.
Exciting.
I kind of wish they'd give the Master a break, but never
get
mind.
John Sims back.
I don't think it's impossible, but yeah, I thought that was cool. And he also sets up earlier on. He's like, there's only one person that I wouldn't ever play against, and it was like, it wasn't He Who Remains, but it was very similar.
He said
the one who waits.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. He said.
Yeah. Oh yeah, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Yeah. So that's, I guess, setting up some other
another big
person
bad
for the Doctor to go against. Yeah, another big bad.
Yeah. So then we have the discussion about David Tennant. Just take a break. Just have a relax.
Well, we don't just regenerate then. That's so pointless to me.
The way I kind of understood the explanation was he is so run down and is so guilty.
Yeah,
and is hanging on to everything that has happened for the companions, for the Flux thing, that he just can't let it go. And so he almost has to go into rehab and live with Donna and her family, and because he needs to deal with that guilt. Ncuti Gatwa's like, fine,
I get that.
I've moved on.
And so that will lead into the next series effectively being a soft reboot, which is fine.
Yes.
But I would have probably rather if they just were like, okay, well, the 14th Doctor then, the Doctor lives forever. Like, the Doctor's, he does age, but much slower than humans. So you just have it. So just show a montage of the Doctor living his whole life with the Noble family, and then when they're all gone, then he can regenerate. I'm happy to know that he had a happily ever after with Donna and the Nobles, but I don't want it to be a separate thing to Ncuti Gatwa. I'm fine with them having a montage. And if they have to do this stupid spin-off that no one wants, that's been rumoured.
Tell me about that afterwards.
Well, it's called Partners in Time, and it's just David Tennant and Catherine Tate. That's all I know.
All right, okay.
But it's weird that they haven't announced that, because that's what was part of the original leak about by Generation, is they were going to go into a spin-off. But I don't want to see that, because that's just Doctor Who. If it's just a Doctor and a companion in the TARDIS on adventures, that's just Doctor Who. That's not a spin-off. You're just making 2 Doctor Whos at once. I don't know. Didn't like it. Really didn't like that. And they have just a Fast and Furious barbecue scene, and it just felt
it's
like
all about family. It's all about
family.
family.
It just felt underwhelming. Like, I think it was just too like happily ever after that it was so boring to me. And I just genuinely don't believe the Doctor could settle down like that and live with them. I mean, he's still got a TARDIS,
I know. Maybe that's going to be the next series. Maybe he just snaps and kills them all.
Well, yeah. But because there's the episode The Power of Three where the Doctor, there's like the year of the slow invasion, like cubes appear everywhere, and the Doctor just lives with Amy and Rory for a bit, and he gets bored of it, because he would do.
Yeah.
And so I really don't mind. And also David Tennant didn't seem like he really wanted that. And he had to be persuaded to by Ncuti Gatwa.
But that's like the rehab side of it, though, isn't it? Because he doesn't know that he's overworked, and he doesn't know that how he feels is wrong.
Also, right, so Ncuti Gatwa was like talking about all the trauma in his life, and he mentions I can't remember which villains it was, but it's like a bunch of like important villains and big things that happen. I think it's like the Flux, the Time War, and he mentions Mavic Chen, who is another fucking yellowface villain. Why would you mention? Just don't bring him up. He's like from the Daleks' master plan in the 60s. But yeah, I like how they mentioned Sarah Jane. Rest in peace.
Ah.
They did make some references to other stuff, but I still don't feel like it feels like a 60th anniversary. They didn't celebrate anything apart from just one series of Doctor Who.
I know, that was
Mel's
a big
back.
criticism about the last episode.
Wobbly Yonder. Yeah, Wobbly Yonder was just a regular episode. It wasn't a 60th special. I think this one was the most of the three, but it was still like... And like, the
I
only
thought it was great. I really enjoyed this one.
I really enjoyed it too. What do you think about Mel, that you've seen before?
Yeah, fine. They're just
fine.
getting in all the favourites, aren't they, for all these spin-offs?
Yeah, but Mel was never a favourite. She just screamed. And she was so good at screaming that there's like one episode where her screaming, they made her so like she screamed at the same pitch as like the Doctor Who theme tune, like the sting at the start, so it like blends perfectly into it. That was quite clever.
Wow. That's
she's
cool.
just known for screaming, like, and now they're not doing that. I mean, she's just a totally different character, but it's nice to see her, I guess.
I mean, I would have taken more of the approach of UNIT snapping up all of these companions as like consultants. I don't know why they all need to be amazing at computers and like
so she
doctor level genius.
She was like a computer genius supposedly in the 80s, but you never see her on a computer ever. But like they say that she's meant to be one. But that should have been Martha, right? Surely that should have been Martha.
Yeah.
That would have made more sense. And it's another David Tennant companion and more sort of beloved these days.
Yeah.
And worked for UNIT before. I mean, it was weird. But Mel's coming back anyway in Shooting Out with Zero.
The Doctor has the barbecue, and the other Doctor goes off in the TARDIS, in the original TARDIS, not the second TARDIS. Or
but they're exactly the same. But
yeah, something like that.
Yeah, he takes the original. I think it was the original.
I can't remember. Maybe I'm talking rubbish.
Actually, I don't think it was. I think it was the duplicate.
Did he take the one with the jukebox in?
Yeah.
Oh, that was the second one then.
Yeah. I don't like that. I don't like how the Doctor's not in the right TARDIS. The Doctor should be it should be the Doctor and the TARDIS, not one of the Doctors and one of the TARDISes. That's stupid.
But then that's the
how
thing.
How can the TARDIS
right?
duplicate?
Right.
It's never done that before.
Right. So the thing
it's stupid. You need to have rules in show. I know, like Doctor Who, you can do pretty much anything you want, but I don't think you should do anything.
You need to remember something that is never really done in Doctor Who at all. That they can go to any place at any time that they want.
Yeah.
So feasibly, like the first Doctor could turn up to UNIT the day after the Giggle happened. Like he just could do it. So they are all around. Always.
But that's fine then. But it's one person in a different part of their time.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm fine with that.
So I don't know why can't they just have David Tennant's Doctor?
That's why I said
like,
just have a
time travel in and be like, hey, let's just team up.
Well, if you want to have him retire and stuff, have the rest of the 14th Doctor's life. Yeah, have it in a montage and then be like, okay, if we ever see him again, it's set during then. But I don't need to have it at the same time. And so they did something else for 60th anniversary called Tales of the TARDIS, where they have like past Doctors and past companions talking about old stories, and then it's like they talk about it at the start and then the end of the episode, and they show the episode in between. And they basically the producers on Doctor Who have said like that when the Doctor bigenerated, it did that for like it brought back to life all of the old Doctors, so they're all out there currently, and that explains why they look old there. And I think one of them did say like I think it was Sylvester McCoy said like, oh, in some universes we regenerate, in some we carry on, and it's like they're trying to make a whole franchise out of it. And when Rusty Davies first came back to Doctor Who, he said that he looked at Marvel and he thinks they should do that for Doctor Who.
No,
I disagree with that.
Yeah,
I think Marvel famously isn't doing well right now. When Marvel was doing like solo movies and then they come together for an Avengers film, fine. But now that it's this huge universe and it's all disjointed, it doesn't work. So I think Doctor Who, when it's like it's the main show and there's other spin-offs and they cross over a bit, that's cool. But I'm fine with the Doctor being the Doctor and then stopping being the Doctor. And you may come back occasionally, but I think it works better with one person.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense that he is split into two when feasibly they could meet up at any point at any time. You could write an episode where the TARDIS is like freaks out and takes them all to the same place just for some reason, so they can have a team up episode because they are all around.
I mean, that's
all
what the 5
time.
Doctors was, and the 3 Doctors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just do that. Just do that.
Just do that.
If it's going to cause such an issue and it's going to make people so angry, just do that.
I know. I don't get
Bizarre.
like the whole idea of like a showrunner intentionally wanting to cause drama, and it's like, I get why you don't care about annoying the fan base when it's like, oh, I want to just be inclusive and include like a minority or something. Then it's like, well, fair enough. Then it's not, that's the problem people are offended by. But like, this is something where you're making something that's controversial in the writing for no reason. Why would you want to do that to your fan base? I personally want to write something that people enjoy. I just don't get it. When you can just do good sci-fi stories, that's enough for me. I don't need to see something like this.
No, I completely agree. Yeah, so that was a bit of an odd ending, and as someone who doesn't look up leaks and things, I was a bit shocked by that. But I can very securely say that these last 3 episodes have made me excited for Doctor Who that I haven't been since David Tennant died originally.
I've been nervous because of stuff like this, but mostly I think we're on a good track for shooting Gatwa's era. But I will say, he didn't blow me away though. I thought he was pretty good, but he didn't blow me away.
Didn't have a chance though, did
he? He didn't have a chance to. He was, If we saw him on his own against the Toymaker in the final act, that would have possibly been like, oh, this guy's great. But
if he challenged him to a 1v1 on Rust, Modern Warfare 2, and he quick-scoped him across the map, that would have been sick.
That would have been sick, but throwing balls around, not interested.
No. If he did a frag across the map and killed him, different story. A lot of respect there for duty.
Have you seen his new sonic screwdriver that was unveiled today?
I have.
What did you think?
I think it's very
awful.
Very different. Extremely different.
It looks like a Sky remote.
Yeah, it does look like a Sky remote.
It's terrible.
It looks like a pocket watch.
Yeah, it's just another case of like, if it ain't broke, why do you have to do changes for stuff like that?
Money. That's why. Because we're now in the House of Mouse, Matt. Come on.
No, I get like, I didn't think it was possible to make a sonic screwdriver that was worse than Jodie Whittaker's. And now Jodie Whittaker's is fine in comparison. At least it's a tube to a certain extent.
Well, if you don't like it, you can stick with Partners in Time.
I know, that's the annoying thing is, now I probably would, there's a possibility I could prefer it, but I don't want to prefer it, because it shouldn't exist.
So you said that there's a potential for a David Tennant Donna spin-off. There's a potential for a Unit spin-off.
Yeah.
Is there anything else? Are they bringing Torchwood back?
Probably not because of John Barrowman, but
true.
Otherwise, I get the impression it would have come back a couple of years ago, because they brought John Barrowman back for a couple of episodes as Captain Jack in Jodie Whittaker era, and it was very exciting.
And then allegations occurred.
Well, the thing is though that it was never a secret because I knew that back then. Like they would always talk about it. Like it was always just a joke. Like, oh yeah, he always gets Willie out, and it was like always just like a light-hearted thing that they'd always talk about in interviews. Like it was never in any way secret. It's more people are like, when he came back, they were like, "Are you sure you still want to hang out with this guy? That's not really very professional." Yeah, I kind of feel like it was gonna come back. What do you think about? Have you seen the trailer for Christmas?
I didn't know it was out. Let me quickly watch it.
It came out after the episode. It's only like 30 seconds, if that.
Goblins. He's Doctor's in his Goblin era. Is there the cock goblin?
As long as there's a mind goblin.
Oh, I haven't heard about the mind goblin.
Mind goblin these nuts.